Hello, welcome to this new episode of the Confessions of a Yarn Addict podcast. My name is Anniken. I am a knitting designer and knitting teacher, and I live in the southwest of England, but I'm originally from Norway. So today I'm going to share with you a few clips from a couple of workshops recently, and also some of the stuff that I've been knitting over the last few weeks. Most of my knitting for the last week has been, well, all my knitting for the last week since last Friday. It's Thursday today. So since last Friday, all my knitting has been on an urgent design commission. It was commissioned in February, but the yarn only arrived last Friday, and the deadline is actually tomorrow, but they extended it till Tuesday, and they've actually, because it's got to go to New York, they're actually giving me, they're actually paying for overnight FedEx. So I've got to book FedEx for Monday. I had hoped I'd finish it by tonight so I could book FedEx for tomorrow, but that's not going to happen. So it'll be, unless I can book FedEx on Saturday, I might finish it tomorrow. Unless I can book FedEx on Saturday, it'll be going out on Monday. Quite enjoying knitting it, but I'm also itching to get onto something else, which I always, when I get like 3/4 of the way through a project, I start to itch to get onto the next thing. I'm not going to show you what it is because I have shared a couple of photos on Instagram, but it is kind of a secret, so I don't want to talk too much about it or show you too many details. And the photos I've shared on Instagram are very, doesn't really show that much of the design. Whereas if I held it up in front of the camera, you'd see the shape and the stitch pattern and stuff more, so I don't want to do that. It's very troubling times we're living at the moment. I don't know how things are where you are. Here in the UK, we seem to be a bit slow to react, I think. Italy's been in lockdown for weeks now and had a really, really bad coronavirus epidemic there. They've been really badly hit. Spain's in complete full lockdown. Norway went into like a full shutdown last week. France is in a lockdown. I think most of Europe is now. UK announced yesterday that they're closing all schools from today. A lot of schools are already closed. A lot of people are being asked to work from home if they can. We've been told this week to limit our social interaction and to avoid going out. But the government haven't told shops and pubs and restaurants and coffee shops and gyms and all that kind of stuff to shut down. They've said, don't go out unless you have to, but we're not telling businesses to shut down. So everything is still open. And I'd say, I mean, I live in a fairly small town in Cornwall, which is quite a rural county in the far southwest of England. Not that many people live down here. And I went into our local town a couple of days ago to go to the post office and to go to the health food shop. And I walked past a big national pub chain in the centre of town, and it was full of people, and most of them were retired people who are in the age group that this virus is most likely to affect. And the health food shops said they've been really busy, so people aren't. This was a day after they'd made the announcement to limit social interactions, so people obviously weren't listening then. And I don't think people are still listening. I expect next week they'll announce like a complete full shutdown, like most of the rest of Europe. I was due to attend a show called Wonderwall in Wales at the end of April, and a show called Cornish Fibre Festival in Cornwall, local to where I live, in May. They have both been cancelled. Loads of other yarn festivals, both here in the UK and in the US, have been cancelled, and possibly other parts of the world as well. But I know some big ones in the US have been cancelled, and quite a few in the UK that were due to take place in April and May have been cancelled. I've only had one workshop and one talk in April cancelled so far. I do have some more workshops booked in April. I don't have any more workshops for the rest of this month, but I do have workshops booked in April, and I expect them to be cancelled. I think shops are probably waiting till the last minute to cancel things, but I expect they will be cancelled, which is a real shame, but I understand why that's necessary. So if you are booked to come on one of my workshops over the next couple of months, contact the shop that you are, where the workshop is being held, because the decision to cancel is really down to them. I am not feeling ill. I'm feeling fit and healthy. The worrying thing about this virus is I could have it. I could have caught it and not be aware yet, because I think you can get it and be infected before you actually start having symptoms, which is what's so scary, because if you were and you can be contagious before you start having symptoms. So if I was coughing and had a temperature and I knew I was contagious, I would obviously stay away from people. But because I feel fit and well and healthy, and I cycled for 40 minutes this morning, you know, and I feel fine. But I could still be carrying this virus, and that's quite scary. My family are all in Norway, so obviously I do worry about them. My in-laws live about 10 minutes from us, and we're worried about them. My daughters are coming home tonight or tomorrow. My oldest daughter is going to work from home. My youngest daughter is at university, and they've shut down for the rest of the term. She's in her final year, and graduation has been postponed till next year. Some of her exams are moving online, and some she doesn't know about yet. As long as she's allowed to graduate, because next year she's going to medical school. She's doing a postgraduate medical degree. So we're just desperate for her to be able to graduate so that she can move on to medical school in September. Assuming we'll be back to normal by September. Oh, it's a bit worrying, but anyway, I will share a couple of videos from a couple of workshops I've been doing lately, and then I'll be back to tell you about some purchases I made recently. So I'm going to share with you some purchases I made recently. I'm also going to later on tell you about a Knitalong, so do hang on a little bit later. And I've also got some really special offers for you, so do hang on a little bit longer. So a couple of weeks ago, end of February probably, an indie dye who I had bought from before, but a long time ago, Spectrum Fiber. She does some really bright yarns. I really like her yarns. I saw she had a shop update, so I had a look, and I got these two skeins. Aren't they pink? I actually thought it was a slightly kind of darker pink. I was going to check. I've got a water bottle, which is the color that I thought this was, but I didn't bring the water bottle upstairs with me, so I was looking at my table because I thought it was there. But I thought it was a slightly darker pink. It looked slightly darker on my phone screen. It is a very kind of sugary pink with some blues and orange and different colors. It's 100% mulberry silk. It's silk singles Indian summer colorway. It's got 400 meters, 100 grams per skein. So my plan was to use these for kind of like a summer shawl, because they're so pink. I mean, I actually quite like the pink, but they are very, very pink. I am wondering whether I ought to combine another color to kind of break up the pink a little bit, but I haven't decided yet. I've got another project planned before that anyway. I was thinking maybe I would take this on holiday in the summer, but who knows if our holiday will happen now. We're due to go to Lisbon in Portugal. I think it's at the end of June, so I'm hoping by then we'll be back to normal, but who knows. And then I was teaching at the Knitting Corner last weekend in north of Birmingham, Sutton Coldfield, and I got tempted by some of their pretty yarns. So I saw this one. It's a Rowan fine lace. I love that colorway. I mainly bought it for the colorway. I do like the Rowan fine lace. I've used it before. It is a blend of alpaca. It's 80% alpaca, 20% wool. It's really soft, but it's not as fluffy as some alpaca yarns are. I actually thought it had some silk in it because it does feel very silky, but it doesn't have any silk in it. No, baby Surrey alpaca and fine merino wool. It's 50 grams and it's got 400 meters. I would have bought two if they had it, but they only had one, so I got one. And then I got this color, a Kid Silk case, also from Rowan, because the colors match. And I'm thinking I might use this. I was thinking I might use this either alternate between the two colors or held together. But this is 25 grams and only 210 meters. So if I'm going to hold them together, I need another ball of this. So I don't know, I'll have to think about it. I have got something else planned first anyway, so but I love those colors, especially that one, really pretty. I also got a circular needle. So Knit Pro does a new needle set called I think it's called Smart Sticks. I actually put it away in my knitting needle case, so I forgot to bring it upstairs with me to show you, but you can Google it. It's called Knit Pro Smart Sticks, and it has on the needle tip, it's a circular needle, and on the needle tip it has like marked off, I think it's 1 inch sections, so you can actually use it to measure things. So I bought the size I normally use for socks, so I thought it'd be quite easy to, quite often I need to measure socks as I go, and that'd be quite a quick and easy way. If I was going to measure something that needed to be done really accurately, I'll still get a tape measure out, but it is good for kind of rough measuring. So if you're thinking I need to do 10 centimeters, 4 inches, you know, am I getting close? And then you measure and you realize you've only done 2. So for that kind of thing, it'll be fine. But I've heard a lot about these needles. A lot of people love them, so I wanted to give them a try. So I got a pair. And then that's all the purchases I got. I will show you a little bit of knitting, a little bit of crocheting. I'm working on a crochet blanket. I haven't touched it for the last week, but it's getting really big, and I got some new colors for it as well, which I'll share with you next week, because next week I'll be back to working on it. But I'll be back in a minute to tell you about some really fun stuff I got planned for the coming weeks, so don't miss out. So as shows are being cancelled, most of my income comes from, I have got some income from pattern sales, but my pattern sales are not huge. I do quite a bit of magazine work, which last 2 years I've done very little magazine work, but I've stepped that up this year. But a lot of magazines don't actually pay until after the design's been published, which means that you do the work and you don't get paid till 6 months later. So quite a lot of the work I've done already this year, I won't get paid till the summer, which might actually be good now in case I get loads of workshops cancelled over the summer. So I am trying to step up the amount of magazine designs I do this year. I used to do quite a lot, but you do get a little bit kind of burnt out after a while, so I cut down a bit deliberately over the last couple of years. But I'm trying to step that up a bit because it is a guaranteed income. So, you know, they tell you upfront how much they're gonna pay you, so you know that that money is coming in. Whereas with self-published designs, I don't know how many copies a pattern's going to sell. Now, some patterns sell really well, other patterns that I think might be popular are a complete flop. So, you know, you can't tell, and then you don't know how much money you're going to make, which is a little bit worrying. At least with workshops, I know what workshops I got planned. I know what magazine designs I got booked in, so I can kind of plan ahead a bit. But with self-published pattern sales, it's really unpredictable, and there's huge competition, so it's a really tough market at the moment. But so as I am having a lot of workshops cancelled and shows cancelled at the moment, I'm having to think of some other way to generate some income. So I've got a couple of things I want to share with you. First, if you are a member of my Love of Lace Knitting Facebook group, there is a pinned post in that group with a coupon code for a free pattern for you. So if you're not a member of the group, you can click the link in the bio to join. That coupon code is valid till the end of this month, end of March 2020, but you have to join the group. So if you're not a member, click the link below to join. Please, please, please answer the questions, otherwise you will be declined. Because we've had so many new members lately. I think we've had probably like 700-800 new members in the last couple of months, I think. I am rejecting most people who don't answer the question unless I know them already. So please do answer the questions. You don't have to write an essay, we just have to know that you're a knitter, basically. And you just have to agree to the rules that we've set. Also, if you are on my newsletter list, there's also a coupon code for a free pattern on my newsletter list. So if you're in the Facebook group and the newsletter list, you can get 2 free patterns because the codes are different. If you are not on my newsletter list, you can sign up at the link below, and then when I send a newsletter out next week, you will get it. So today it is Thursday, 19th of March, and I've sent a newsletter out this morning. I'll be sending it out again probably Tuesday or Wednesday, I expect. So if you haven't signed up, if you sign up before then, 24th, 25th, something like that, then the code will be in that newsletter as well, and then I'll probably delete it after that. But the code's valid to the end of March, so do sign up. Loads of yarn businesses are really struggling at the moment and will really struggle with all these coronavirus shutdowns, all over Europe, all over the US, and probably other parts of the world as well. So if you are able to support your local yarn shop and order online or order over the phone with them, or buy a gift certificate or something like that, or you're able to support your favorite knitting designers, like me, or whoever your favorite knitting designer is, or your favorite indie dyer and things like that, please do if you're able to. I know loads of you are going to be facing real hardship, as well as a lot of you are probably being asked not to come into work, and so I don't know what's going to happen this year. I think this is just going to be a really, really tough year, and I try not to think about it too much because it gives me a lot of anxiety with what's going to happen this year, and I'm really worried for the most vulnerable people in our society. Anyway, what I want to tell you was I'm having a free knit along in my Facebook group. More about that in a minute. But also, I do have 3 online courses: finishing techniques for knitters, continental knitting with Norwegian purl, which you've seen any of the clips of me knitting. That's how I knit, and my Aventura sock course. If you see those socks up there, those are Aventura socks. So these are the Aventura socks. They are, you can choose from toe up or top down. So the pattern, it's available as a pattern and as an online course, and the online course shows you how to do all the techniques and how to knit the socks. So it comes choice of top down and toe up. It's got a choice of 2 afterthought heel. This is the swirly afterthought heel, and this is the modified wedge afterthought heel. And then it's got a choice of 2 toes, which can either be worked toe up or top down. This is the swirly toe, and this is the modified wedge toe. So all in all, I think there's 16 different options. So you can get the pattern in my Ravelry pattern shop, or you can sign up for the online course. So all my online courses till the end of March 2020 are $5 off. So they are on the they're hosted on an American site, so the price is in dollars. I think the finishing course on Aventuras is $30 and the Continental is $40. But you can get $5 off each of the 3 courses. So if you want to do one, you want to do all 3, you can get $5 off any of them. Using the code YarnAddict in capital letters. All the details are below this video. And the link to the courses are below this video as well. So if you're interested in taking a class, or maybe you had a class booked in and you can't get to it now because it's been cancelled, or you're stuck at home isolating yourself, and you want to learn something new, now's your chance. I'm also planning some tutorials and free content for my Facebook group, Love of Lace Knitting. I may share some of that on YouTube and Instagram. We'll see how it goes. But I do want the people who are a member of the group to have some benefits and some free exclusive content. I know some people don't like Facebook, but you can join Facebook and join the group without doing everything that Facebook has to offer. But I'm also planning to do a free mystery knit along. This will be a proper mystery knit along, as in I have no idea how this shawl is going to turn out. It's going to be a mystery even to me. So I'm planning to start this next week when I finish my current design deadline. So it'll be Tuesday, Wednesday. I think it's 24th, 25th of March. You can join in at any time. Probably, I expect I'll probably finish the shawl middle of April sometime. But you can carry on for as long as you need to. There won't be a deadline for this. But what I'm planning to do is to... So I'm going to try and do some live streams, but I may also pre-record some videos because my daughters are going to be home working from home, and I think my husband's going to do quite a bit of work from home as well, although I don't think he'll be home full time yet. we could get to a point where there's all 4 of us at home, which means it's going to be crowded, and filming is going to be more difficult because I have to do any filming in the lounge if I'm filming tutorials and stuff. So I'm going to try and film as I go to show you my design process, and to show you and then share the pattern with you. So it won't be a kind of completely finished tech edited pattern. It'll be a kind of draft pattern, and you will knit along with me. So what I'll do is I'll plan a section, write it up, knit it, film myself talking about it and showing you the process, and film any techniques, any tutorial stuff. Loads of people in the Facebook group are new to lace knitting, so I will make it so that it's fairly easy so everyone can join in, but I might do some sections that have like an easy option and a slightly more difficult option, if that makes sense. So I'll do as many tutorials and live streams and videos and stuff as I can. Some of them might be recorded, some of them might be live streamed. I am planning to post them on YouTube as well, but if I'm doing a live in the Facebook group, it will rely on me being able to save it, and sometimes if that doesn't work and I wasn't unable to save it, then I wouldn't be able to post it on YouTube. So if you can join the Facebook group, that'd be better. But I thought I'd tell you the yarn I'll be using. So you're going to want to need, there'll be a choice of size as well, because I'm planning to make mine quite big. So there will be an option to make it smaller. I know roughly what shape it's going to be. So there will be an option to make it smaller, and I'll talk about that next week. You'll want at least 600 meters of yarn, 4-ply, fingering weight, sock weight, so approximately 400-500 meters per 100 grams. That's what you're looking at in terms of yarn. So I'm going to use this cake of Belem. It's yarn from Hungary. I've seen them at a few shows. I got this at Tribe Yarns in London last month. I haven't actually knitted with it before. It's 100% merino, and it's got 500 meters per 100 gram, and it's Belem. I'll put their details below, and it's grey. It's kind of pale grey in the middle and dark grey around the outside. I'll probably knit from the outside to start with the dark grey, and then to inject a bit of colour into that, I've got these 3 skeins. Yes, these are as bright as they look. These are all from Coop Knits, which is a British sock designer, and they're called Socks. So I'll put the details to that below and her website. You don't need to use these yarns. I've got 2 50-gram skeins of the pink and 1 50-gram skein of the purple. This one has got 212 meters per 50 grams. So I don't know whether I'll use all of these or whether I'll just use 2 of them. I think I'll probably use 1 of each of these. Maybe the second pink. I haven't quite decided yet. Depends on how big I decide to make it. In fact, I really want to make a sweater out of this yarn. I just love this color. So this is what I'm planning to use. You can use whatever you like. You don't have to use these yarns. Have a look in your stash. You can even go for thicker or thinner yarn to suggest the needle size. I'll be using either 4mm needles or 4.5mm needles. I haven't quite decided yet. Probably 4mm needles. So 4mm needles is a US 6, and 4.5mm needles is a US 7. So I'll put together a page in the Facebook group and probably on my blog next week with all the details. I've got this needle conversion chart, which is really handy. It's from a company called Perlessons.co.uk. is where it's their business card with a needle conversion chart, which is really useful. So that's going to kick off next Tuesday or Wednesday. I know roughly what shape it's going to be, but I'm not going to tell you, and I haven't planned it yet. I don't know what lace pattern is going to be like. Don't know how much lace there's going to be. I don't know whether it's going to be garter stitch or stocking stitch. So it will be a true mystery knit along, because at this precise moment I don't know what it's going to look like. So you can join me for that if you want to. Got to do something fun to keep us busy while we're all isolated and quarantined or socially distancing ourselves from everybody else. So I hope you enjoyed this video, this episode. Tell me below what the situation is like where you live. Are you just being asked to socially distance yourself from people? Are you being asked to be careful about going out, or are you in full lockdown quarantine? Have you been ill with this bug? Have you recovered? How are you doing? I do hope that you all stay safe. I'm really, really worried about this bug. It's just, I find it really scary, and anxiety levels have been a little bit high lately because of it. I am worried about elderly relatives and relatives who are vulnerable for other medical reasons, and friends who are vulnerable, and elderly friends. So I just pray that we will all get through this and come out the other side. It does feel a bit like we're going into like a, saying this to Pilates instructor was saying this to us today as she was telling us the class had been cancelled. It feels like we're kind of going into like a period of really unknown, and just hope we all come out the other side. But I think, you know, this is the first time we've faced anything like this, I think, since the Second World War, at least in Europe and in North America. Some of you may be from other parts of the world which has more conflict or have experienced more recent conflict, but certainly here in Western Europe, Northern Europe, we haven't seen anything like this. I don't think since the war. So it's quite scary, and it just feels like we have no control of this. The only thing we can do is to stay home. So I do encourage you, if you are in an area that is affected, and I think at this point it's probably most of the world, do encourage you to stay home, knit, look after your family, look after your elderly neighbours and friends, check in on people, connect via social media or video calling and all that kind of stuff. And do lots of knitting. At least it's an excuse to do lots of knitting. And if you have those knitting stash or fabric stash for sewing or whatever, this is what we've been saving our stash for. This is when we can say to our families, this is why I have a big yarn stash for situations like this when I can't get out. But also do remember that a lot of yarn shops will continue to ship stuff. My online shop, by the way, is open. So if you want to place an order, you can do. I'll put the link below. I'm still shipping stuff. Post office is still open. Things, even though a lot of borders in Europe have closed, cargo is still getting through, so things are still being shipped, so you can still place an order. I've been told things are a little bit slower at the moment. I don't know if that's true or not, but you can still place an order. And do check out my online courses below, and the discount code for that, and the free pattern code in my Facebook group. And if you would like to support me over the coming months, if you are able to do so and want to buy a pattern or two, I really, really appreciate every single sale at the moment, because so many of my workshops and shows and things have been cancelled. I really appreciate, I mean, I always appreciate any orders I get anyway, any purchases I get anyway, but at the moment it's just even more important, really. And a lot of people who do the similar kind of job that I do, anyone who owns an independent business, small business, are in this situation now. So if you can support your local small businesses, independent businesses, please do. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.